Hello my wonderful viewers, welcome to my platform. This is Linda's TV show. If you like what you see after watching this video, please subscribe, put on your notification bell to all notifications. In that way you'll be able to know when I upload a new video. This is very important. In this platform, we react to all forms of videos, international and local. And every Saturday by 2 p.m. we have our interaction section where you are free to air your mind, to contribute to the happenings in our societies. Share my videos with your friends, families, and colleagues. And myself, I'll be sitting here to watch this video together with you. Then later we'll come to the comment section to talk about it. We'll write our comment in a constructive manner. As we watch this video, remember to share.
What are your plans for Nigerians? What are you offering if you were to become president of Nigeria?
Well, that's a huge question. But I will start by saying that, of course, you know my history, my pedigree, so to say. So I understand the country, I understand the challenges, and I think I have clarity on what the solutions could be. But let me say in summary that it is going to be my commitment to rebuild the country. And when I talk about rebuilding the country, of course, it's a whole huge lot of things to talk about. We talk about, I believe that the country, I can segment it this way. We have foundational issues, we have economic issues, we have issues of development. And if for any reason you jump one to the other, like many people will just get up and say they will recalibrate the security architecture, they will do this, I think they are missing the point. For me, I believe that we have certain fundamental issues that we need to address and get the country on its feet. One, for instance, we need to have a consensus on the structure of the country or the nation. We also need to have a consensus on the ideals, the dream of the nation, or if you like, the aspirations of the nation. We also need to have a consensus on the governmental systems that will work for us. So for me, I will take, first and foremost, my commitment, the first steps I will take will be to build consensus on this. Because what people fail to understand is that it's not a matter of generating policy and throwing it at the people. The success of any government's policy will depend largely on how much the people were able to buy into it. And to buy into this, you need to harvest the perspectives of the various segments of the society and bring it together to a point that you have a consensus. I want to say that the whole idea of consultation, which I am doing presently, is to harvest the perspectives of very different stakeholders in the country and weld them together. Immediately I step in as president, build consensus on what works for all of us, on what is acceptable to all of us, then run with it. On economic issues, I am convinced that the 21st century, particularly the second half of 21st century we are moving into, it's not like any time before. So for me, the drivers of the economy will now be on industrialization or manufacturing, if you care, talent and innovation, science and technology. These certainly are going to be the key drivers of the economy of the second half of 21st century. And I will develop this, build on this, and prepare Nigeria to fit into the fourth industrial revolution. That will create jobs. That obviously will expand the economy. That will make the economy more competitive and more dynamic, and it will diversify the economy. I will also focus on the enablers of development, the factors, the things, the circumstances, the situations that promotes prosperity and development, like security, like education, like governance issues. And when I mean governance issues, it means consistent policies, it means regulatory issues and all that. Then the legal framework and all that. So those issues, the enabling issues are critical to make the economic challenges, the economic pillars work. And the fundamental issues we generate patriotism that will drive the whole system. And I can tell you that if I become president of Nigeria, I will approach rebuilding the country from these three perspectives, segment them properly, pursue them with commitment and determination, and for sure we will deliver results. The gaps people have and why many governments have failed or many administrations have failed is because you just wake up and throw a policy on the people and you find out that it doesn't work. And I can say that by my experience in government, I have seen how various governments approach some of these issues, the ones that worked and the ones that didn't work, and I'll make the difference.
Right, this is exactly what I wanted to ask you. You've talked about so many things. That consensus building seems to be a theme here. Are we going to have another constitutional conference? That's my first question. And my second question is why you? Why should Nigerians trust you at this particularly precarious point in which we find ourselves? I mean, we know you as a senator from Mboyin State who became Senate President. You were later Secretary to the federal government. But what have you done to serve Nigerian people, and why should you be trusted?
Well, maybe let me start from your first question, which is whether we are going to have a national conference. I think that is not the issue. We have had enough. But however, if it is the desire of the Nigerian people, no problems about that. But I think we have enough documents that need to fine-tune to reach understanding. The problem is getting everybody agree that the way to go is acceptable to all. It's really not a matter of organizing another conference, but it's a matter of saying, okay, this is your perspective as you have presented here. This is your perspective as you have presented here. Can we reach a middle course? So importantly, it's not a matter of what this feels or what this other one feels, but it's what we agree to do. Once we reach that consensus, we mustn't need, well, we can reach that consensus without a new conference. But if the Nigerian people desires one, that is not a problem. My commitment is to be sure that I do the will of the Nigerian people. Now, if you ask me what I bring to the table, that is why Nigerians should trust me. I think if you know my history, of course, that question would not arise. You will even help me answer the question. I was president of the Senate, and I inherited a very trouble-ridden Senate, and I brought stability to that Senate. And I want to say that I will bring stability to this country. I was Secretary to Government of the Federation, and if you care, you will also know Ruben was in government with us. I was able to help the president focus majorly governance issues that actually struck a balance in that administration. And that's the uniqueness that Nigerians are missing today on the President Goodluck's administration. We worked together, we assisted the president to the best we can to achieve what Nigerians are missing today. And I think I was at the center of the administration of that government. And I want to believe that, of course, the footprints we were able to drop here and there are very clear. And I think I am that one Nigerian that can find a home anywhere in the country, very much across the country. I grew up, largely I started my career in Sokoto when I served in Sokoto. But importantly, I can tell you that there is no part of this country that I will go to today and I am not at ease. And if you check my history, if you check my career service, I have never had any issue of ethnicity or whatever we ever had presided. When I was in the Senate, there was no issue of where you come from. I was able to put everything on the table, build greater understanding across board, respected everybody, and earn the trust of everybody. If I can earn the trust of Nigerians as President of the Senate, I earned the trust of Nigerians as Secretary to Government, I think I will do better as President of Nigeria.
So being President of Nigeria demands a lot of decision making. I'd like to ask you, what are the parameters that define how you, as an individual, make your decisions? That's one. Number two, I'd like to ask you, because you also work with people, what informs your decision to trust people? And what informs your decision to go with them even when they have done wrong?
Well, what I can say generally is that, one, nobody is a saint, but the parameters for choosing those to work with will be competence, will be capacity, will be experience. When you put this together, these are the only human factors you can see. The other ones are the ones you may not see. And you will be diligent enough to monitor the performance of each person. When any person moves out of your vision, then of course you should be able to call the person to order or make a change. So in making a decision, I want to say that, and I am emphatic on, maybe at times people will come and say they will do this, they will do that. The country has gone beyond that, and this is 21st century. It's not a matter of one-man rule. It's rather a matter of collective will of the people giving effect to it. And I think that is the governance I want to put on the table. Harvest the collective will of the people and give it a drive to progress and success. So in making decision, I should be able to be sure not only those around me influences that decision, it must be the collective will of the Nigerian people. The process of decision making, yes, the buck stops on my table, but there must be enough consultation on any critical issue. Because once the policy you put on the table is not acceptable by the people, it's bound to fail. So it is my duty to make sure that I have a buy-in of the generality of the people and all segments of the country before deploying any policy or making any policy decision. So I want to believe that that is the demands of democracy. I want to believe that that is the demands of a diverse, a country that has a country that is diverse in its components or constitution. So in a diverse country of like ours, if you don't carry everybody, if you don't enforce by good governance inclusiveness, then the tendency is that you will struggle to make a success of your decisions or policies. And I can tell you that in all my decision making, I'll take into consideration the diverse nature of our country. I'll take into consideration the moment, the type, the stage in our development, and I will take into consideration the basic principles of democracy.
Well, you've been going around the country consulting certain leaders of Nigeria. I know I read an article by Dele Momodu, who is also a presidential aspirant, talking about the owners of Nigeria. Will it be correct to say that those names I read off at the beginning was an attempt on your part to consult those who have been described as the owners of Nigeria? And what kind of feedback are you getting? Then Ohaneze Ndigbo Worldwide General Assembly, the National Secretary, Alex Ogbonia, he was quoted as saying that, well, Ohaneze Ndigbo has set criteria for Igbos who want to be a president, and that at some point, when everybody comes out and they have a list, they will invite, they will intervene and probably appeal to one person to step down for the other. If that were to happen, will you be willing to step down for anybody from the Southeast? Already at the moment, we have 3 of you, who are very prominent.
Well, maybe I would not use the word of Dele Momodu to say that there are owners of Nigeria. But my experience as a result of arising from my consultation had been that some people who led this country before share deep concerns about the future of the country, and they want the best for the country. And it was necessary that I share views with them, harvest their perspective, and see how I deploy that to help myself forge ahead. So I am not sure I can call them the owners of the country, but I can call them former leaders of the country that actually share some concern about the country. In fact, deep concerns about the future of the country. So my consultation so far, I can say, has been quite inspiring and encouraging. And what I discovered is that everybody wants the best for this country. Everybody desires the progress of the country. Everybody wants the unity of the country. Everybody wants the prosperity of the country. And I think that is what all of us want, no matter where you come from. Yes, there are a few issues of I come from here, I want it this way, but the central issue is that we want the progress of the country, because everybody feels the pain when the country is not progressing, and we have no other country. So everybody wants a country he can be proud of, and I think that is what is common amongst everybody. And I want to say that that's my experience from the consultation. Now, on what you said, Johannes, what you said, Johannes, the secretary said.
Yes.
Yeah, well, whatever you call it, Johannes a demo. Okay.
You know,
yes. Well, I want to say that is not to my knowledge. One, I didn't have such communication. But I want to say that, yes, we may come from Southeast, but we are looking to rule Nigeria. So whoever must be the president of Nigeria must not be whoever that the Southeast have handpicked. And I think, I don't know, I am not sure, like I said, it's not to my knowledge. I am concerned about, one, making myself acceptable to Southeast, making myself acceptable to Northeast, making myself acceptable to Southwest, making myself acceptable to Northwest, and making myself acceptable to North Central, because I am seeking to be the president of Nigeria. And one thing I can say straight away is that virtually at the primary level, every person will emerge from his own party. And I do not see how any ethnic group will come to decide for a party, a national party, who to be their candidate, or who they would, how they would ask somebody they have preferred to be their candidate to step down. I don't know how that will work, and I don't want to get into that. But I want to say that my commitment is to preside over Nigeria, and I must be acceptable and accepted by every part of the country, and that's what I seek.
Well, that's a really pan-Nigerian way of looking at the problem. But those who are arguing, and there are many who are arguing in favor of a president of Igbo extraction this time, are talking about equity and justice, and that it has happened before with the Southwest, when in 1999, when you emerged as senator from Ebonyi, the two presidential candidates of the main parties were from the Southwest. What is your take on that with regards to the Southeast, or generally even a president of Igbo extraction, and the fact that a lot of Igbos feel marginalized in the current Nigerian political process?
Well, I will say that, one, the issue of equity, fairness, justice is certainly a fundamental issue. Two, when in 1999, the two presidential candidates emerged from Southwest, eventually President Obasanjo became the president. He was president of Nigeria. He wasn't president of Southwest. And it was, much of his votes were from outside Southwest. In fact, Southwest didn't vote for him. And that is the reason why it is very important and very, very, very critical that every person aspiring should realize that, look, you have to be a candidate for the country and of the country, and not just of any particular ethnic group. So, but the issue of equity, fairness, and justice is a fundamental issue, fundamental in the sense that our Constitution is clear on this. The fundamental principle of state policy is captured in Chapter 2 of the Constitution. And Section 13 of that section mandated every government and every government agency or department to commit to applying the principles listed under Chapter 2. And I think subsection 3 of of Section 13 talked about federal character. And again, use the words you have just used. You used the factor of equity, you used the factor of unity, and all that. And he said, for this reason, every aspect of the national governance must reflect federal character. I think that is what we are saying. What we are saying is that, fine, the presidency had been to the north, it is the turn of the south, and that makes sense. Now, in PDP, which is my party, it is also in the PDP constitution, clear. In fact, Section 7, I think Section 7.3c, was clear on rotation and zoning. That section says, in fact, it's a fundamental principle of PDP. It says that there should be rotation of the elective offices of the nation between North and South. I have heard people argue that there are other zones in the country that have not produced president, like Northeast and North Central and other. It's not the argument. It's not the issue. The zoning principle in the PDP constitution is clear. It said North, South. So when it gets to the South, they can microzone within their own zone region. When it gets to North, the same. Just like what we did when we zoned the party offices of the PDP. When we zoned the party offices of the PDP, what we did was to zone North, South. Then North will now go back and microzone within their zones, and South now went back and microzone within their zones. It is clear. So, and the reason is, every section of the country must have, you know, a sense of belonging, a sense of inclusiveness, a sense of entitlement as a citizen of the country to aspire to any office in the country. And it's only fair. The rules have been established, the principle is understood, so not following it, of course, will be a burden on the conscience of the nation.
All right.
That's my take.
Okay, so you were former Senate president, and the complaint year in, year out is that the budget is being padded and the National Assembly is fingered. In fact, this year it is said that this budget has got over 400 duplicated projects to the tune of over 300 billion. And there's a back and forth always between the executive and the legislative. What are the ideas you have as regards stopping budget padding? 2, I'd like to know, what is your greatest fear about Nigeria?
Well, maybe I start from the last question. I really do not have much fears about Nigeria, because I believe that the challenges we have today, one way or the other, they are temporary. Then 2, if you ask me, what really are those challenges, is simply leadership challenges. And once you have the right leadership, things will reverse. So I really do not have fear. If you ask me, if you insist that I must tell you the fears I have, it's just the commitment of Nigerians to realize that we have no other country. And because we are diverse in our composition, we must be fair, we must be equitable, we must be just. Once we do that, we apply that across board in the management of the national affairs, of course we'll be able to progress as a nation. So I don't really have any fears, because there is no challenge before us that cannot be surmounted. It's just getting the right leadership. Now, about the National Assembly, you remember at the beginning of 99, I was in the National Assembly, to the point that I headed the National Assembly as President of the Senate and Chairman of the National Assembly. I can always say that whatever you see in the National Assembly is a function of the character in the villa. And so I don't discuss the National Assembly outside my own National Assembly, because the challenges may be different. What they are facing, I may not have faced during my time. But during my time, I can talk about my time. I know that during my time, we had no budget issues as such. And the way budgets are implemented are not the same. And it varies. When President Obasanjo was in the National Assembly had a peculiar challenges of its own. When President Goodluck was the president of the country, the National Assembly had the best of times, so anybody can testify. When President Goodluck, the summary of my position is that whatever you see happening in the National Assembly is a function of the character in the villa. And so there is I don't have any basis to talk about National Assembly, and I don't usually like talking about National Assembly.
I'd like to interrogate you more on that. You say whatever happens, whatever padding that is going on is a function of the character and the villa. So are you saying the villa is aiding the padding of the budget? Are you saying the villa is aiding corruption? Because ICPC investigated National Assembly recently.
Pardon.
Yeah.
No. I don't know what you mean by pardon. I said I don't want to go into that because I don't understand. I don't know what you mean by pardon. But what I'm saying is that budget is originated from outside the National Assembly. It's sent to National Assembly. Budget sessions are arranged between National Assembly and the various departments of government. They reach an agreement, pass the budget, and send back to the president. On satisfaction that the budget could go, the president assents to it. So I am, whatever you may have your best word for whatever you are complaining about. But I said, I don't want to discuss National Assembly.
Okay, Senator Ayim, quickly, two things. The first question is hypothetical. The second one is specific. The hypothetical question has to do with Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of IPOB, who is undergoing trial. And you know very well that the wheel of justice in Nigeria grinds slowly. And the election, the presidential election, is just about a year away. If we were to win and emerge as the next president of Nigeria, and that Nnamdi Kanu matter is still dragging before the courts, what will be your response? What will you do? Will you just pardon him and ask him to go, or you will insist that the course of justice should continue, whichever way it goes? And then second part of the question, which I say is more specific, what are those things that you will retain from this current administration, the Buhari administration? And what are those things that you are likely to do differently?
Well, on Nnamdi Kanu, I always avoided a situation whereby a national problem is treated as a regional problem. The insecurity in the southeast or the role of Nnamdi Kanu should be treated as a national problem. Just like Sunday Igboho in the southwest should be treated as a national problem. Such that Mohammed Yusuf of blessed memory, of course, should be treated as a national problem. And why I must say this is that no part of the country today is spared of insecurity or some form of challenges or the other. And in containing them, it's national resources that is deployed to contain them. If you ask me what I will do, I will put together all the challenges we have on insecurity and devise a strategy of containing them. But like I did say, that part of that one of the cardinal enablers of development is security. Security of lives and property is very primary to the purpose of government. So containing the insecurity in the land should be my primary concern. But I won't treat them segment by segment, Kano by Kano, Sunday Igboho by Sunday Igboho, Boko Haram by Boko Haram. We will develop an architecture that will secure people, that will secure Nigerians and secure the property of Nigerians and guarantee progress to Nigeria. So I would, for any reason, not think about what I would do about Nnamdi Kanu. I would think about how to secure Nigeria. And wherever anybody fits in, or any actor in the theater fits in, it will be treated accordingly and along that general principle. Then if you ask me, what will I change or what will I do differently from what the present government is doing? Again, I may not be upfront in saying this one or this other one, but I want to say something. What has set us back is a situation where when a government comes into power, he will now take a sweep on the other government and flush everything good or bad out. It has set us back greatly. And I'll give two instances that will justify my approach. When President Yar'Adua took over from President Obasanjo, President Yar'Adua continued Obasanjo's policy on the Niger Delta insurgency, or the Niger Delta armed insurgency, so to say. And President Yar'Adua drove it to a conclusion. And today we have peace in the Niger Delta. Even every other attempt to recreate that challenge in the Niger Delta never worked because it was addressed properly, it was managed very well from government to government. Another example I will give you is that of President Goodluck on Boko Haram.
Thank you so much for watching this video together with me. Like I said before, if it is your first time of coming across my YouTube channel and you like what I do, please subscribe, put on your notification bell, Share this video, leave your comment in the comment section. You are free to criticize, but let us do it always constructively. Remain blessed. I appreciate your massive support and I love and cherish each and every one of you. Until I meet you again in my next video, for now I will say bye-bye.